Well, hello. For this short video clip, I just want to kind of leave one aspect that really focuses on aspects of clarity and decision making in a changing environment. And it's amazing because I find that this kind of aspect happens a lot with pilots that I work for and that I train. And so I just want to kind of throw this out just as an insight. And it'll be a quick one. There was a day where most of you probably may remember General Richard B. Myers, who was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I think it was between 2001 and 2005 or something. And I got to tell you, General Myers, who's retired now, was the most incredible leader I've ever worked for. And he was the squadron commander at the time that I knew him as a lieutenant colonel. And he and I were flying today on this one day that I'm going to describe. He was the flight lead, and I was in the back of his airplane in the rear cockpit. The wingman had an instructor in the back cockpit and a young new captain in the front seat as we were taking off and we were going to go out and do a mission. Well, it turned out that the wingman had a hydraulic issue in his airplane and the gear was not coming up. And so Colonel Myers did the right thing. He gave the wingman the flight lead, and we just sort of flew off him so that he could take care of his problem. And it was interesting, as he was talking about his problem with the supervisor of flying, who was in the air traffic control tower, the pilot made this comment. He said, well, maybe let me try to cycle the gear. And you heard 4 voices on the radio all at once, including mine, and we said, no. The bottom line is you have a problem, but the gear is already down and locked. If you raise the gear, you may not get them down again. So you're in a good situation where you can land safely, give it back to maintenance, and they can work on it. But it's the aspect of decision making. And the point I want to just get across to you is simply this. The 4 of us instructors all said no kind of thing. Because the thing about it is, when you're talking about a challenge like that, or when something unexpected is coming into your situation today, what assumption are you making, and how are you making assumptions about the situation? He was sort of thinking a little bit more academic, that okay, well, let's cycle it, because that's what the book might say. But in the real world, you add risk if you do that. And if you think about it, the 4 instructors nipped that choice in the bud, and he didn't do anything with it. The bottom line is, I just leave this with you for this week, just very simply. When you're in a rapidly changing environment that's very unpredictable, and the factors that kind of creep into the situation on that particular day are a little bit different, do you have the insight as to when you should really do this or when you should not? Do you really get a sense of that? And what's it going to take for you to think differently? And so the question I leave with you for this week is just simply this. In a situation that arises that you and your team are going to have to deal with and perhaps fix, perhaps overcome, perhaps be successful in, what part of the vision are you missing? What assumptions are you making that are not valid assumptions for that situation? At what point are you exceeding an ethical standard for that decision, regardless of legal aspects? And so just something to think about. There's a lot of aspects that come into the decision making in those kind of situations. And so for this week, I just challenge you to kind of look at that within your organization. Are there times where you see that, oh man, you know what? We were going to do this, but you know what? In this situation, we probably should not do that. How do you improve your clarity on that? And how should that affect your decision making? So I leave that with you for this week.